Hi, this is Moonshine's Curiosity. Welcome, my mental health family. Today I'm going to talk about jobs. And I know some of us don't work, some of us do, but this is for the people who do work a job or are thinking about getting a job. Now, I thought of this topic right after my vaping video and went, I know I have a hard time debating if I'm going to tell the employer about my mental illness. Now, the hard thing about mental illness is, well, the first point, I guess I'm going to start with points. The first point is that if you tell your employer, there's a chance they won't hire you. And even though that's illegal to discriminate, how do you prove that? They could just say you weren't qualified, or they felt they could hire someone else. So there's always that risk. Another risk that you could have is that when you have a mental illness and you keep it secretive, if you have problems in the future, like you need to get hospitalized, or you have to take time off, or if you start getting shaky from like TD, TD's where you start getting tremors and shakes, and mostly like mouth movements, like swallowing, lip smacking, eye movements, things like that, almost like Parkinson's. You have to take Parkinson's medication for it. If you get something like that, you may have to get off your medication, take time off of work like I did. And so there's a lot of issues in that way too. So do you tell them or do you not tell them? Well, here's what it comes down to. I would wait until, I would wait till I'm stable to get a job, because being stable is important. And if you're stable, you're less likely to take off work because you're stable. Now, I would mention to your doctors that you're getting a job if you are getting one or have one. And they can always write doctor's notes for you if you can't handle it or if you go to the hospital. Now, what I've been thinking is when you've been working a job and you get to know the boss a little bit better, or you know their views about mental illness or disabilities, that's the time you might want to mention privately to your boss, oh, hey, let's say it's schizophrenia, hey, sometimes I have a problem with focusing, or ADHD, the same thing, or, but you got to be careful about it, because you could be putting a nick into your record, because then they'll look at it and go, oh, they can't concentrate. So this is a really, really hard, it's hard to say what to do. You have to know your employer. Now, let's say it's a place where you deal, where the company's okay with disabled people. You might be able to disclose that, yes, I do have this mental illness. Otherwise, I personally keep it to myself. The only thing I tell my employers is I have anxiety. My painting employer that I paint for, I told him the whole schizoaffective thing because I trusted him, and he's kept it quiet. And, I've been able to tell him full on what's been going on. But my other job for the school district, I just said I had anxiety really bad, that I have panic attacks. And that's as much as I disclosed to them, because otherwise they don't seem to understand. Always have your doctors help you out. I know for me, I've had, my general doctor and my therapist are amazing. And make sure the doctor you have, I'm going to get a new NP, so we'll see if that works out. But if you have a good doctor, they can write you notes if things do go wrong. Like if you're having meltdowns after meltdown, you may say, I want to go to visit you, I need to get an appointment, or I need a doctor's note for it. So there's that. It's just so tricky. You gotta get to know your employer. That's what I think. I think the bottom line is get to know your employer. Try not to tarnish your worth, but if you do, hopefully, you know, they'll be understanding of it. Technically, they're not supposed to discriminate against you. This is in America. American Disability Act. They're not supposed to discriminate you for your disabilities. The only problem is if you take it to court, it's almost impossible to prove that they discriminated against you. Let's say they fire you and say you weren't productive because they found out. How are you going to prove that they did it because of your disability? You can't. And they'll probably win the case. So even though it's a great act that went through, it's really hard to prove. So what are your thoughts on it? Do you think you should tell your employer right away? Do you think you should wait? Do you think you should never tell your employer? It is your personal business. You really don't have to share. And if you can get doctor's notes for when you're doing bad, well, why even tell the employer? So it's up to you guys to tell me what you think about it. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.